crafting friends, this is Joan-Marie Domino. Did you know that you could decoupage on plastic? Yes, you can. So you know what I did? I ran to the Dollar Tree. I want to find something really, really fun that was also made out of plastic, and I can show you how you can do it. And I'm going to take you, as usual, step by step, from prep right through sealant. And guess what? I have a couple bonus projects too. So this is actually a plastic bikini top I got from the Dollar Tree. Now we're going to be transforming this, but we're going to be making it into decor. This isn't going to be something we're going to be wearing, okay? So the first thing I want to do is give it a coat of chalky paint. Whenever I do something with a smooth surface, whether it's plastic or glass, I like to start out with a good base, and that's why I use chalk paint. And I am applying it here with a sponge pouncer, making sure I get the whole plastic shell. And then when I'm done, I'm going to put it off to dry. I'm going to be using this beautiful napkin I got from Vippies Designs, www.vippies.com. So my next step is to put on a thin coat of Mod Podge. If you're new to decoupage, you can pick up a little bottle of Mod Podge at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. So you want a thin coat. You don't want the napkin to get too saturated because then it's going to tear. So once I have my coat on, I'm going to pick up my beautiful mermaid napkin, and I'm only using one square, and I'm using the top printed ply. This is a piece of saran wrap I'm putting on top of the napkin, and I'm using saran wrap because I can pull it and I can stretch it and make sure the napkin is getting into all of those grooves. Now I'm going to carefully remove the plastic. And look at that, it's absolutely perfect. See, we can decoupage on plastic. We're ready for the next step. I gave the napkin some time to dry, and now I'm going to remove that extra napkin from around the edge. I found the best thing to use for this shell is something like an emery board or a nail file. It really did a good job. And now all that extra napkin is off. And we're ready to go on to the next step. I want to start adding some sparkly shine, and the first thing I'm going to use is Mod Podge Extreme Glitter. Mod Podge Extreme Glitter is the decoupage glue, but the glitter is right inside. It is far less messy than when you use, say, loose glitter. So I'm going to brush it all across the top of the shell, covering the entire napkin. Now, I know it looks very white. That's the glue. It's going to dry clear, and then all you're going to see is all the beautiful glitter. I'm going to let that dry before I move on to my next step, which is I'm going to add more glitter and sparkle. That's just some of the things I'm going to use. But before I put anything else on, I want to hold up the shell so you can see, yes, the Extreme Glitter Mod Podge, it dried clear, and all you have is all that beautiful sparkle. Now I'm going to be using Jacquard metallic paints. I think I said that right. Anyway, they're very, very pretty. They come in a set, and they're thin. They last a really long time. They don't always have them. I am going to give you the link down there. So if you see them and they're available, grab them because sometimes they're gone for months at a time. So I'm starting with this turquoisey blue. I'm going around the edge. And then right on top of it, I'm going to grab one of the other colors, which is this beautiful gold. You want to make sure you mix these really well. They do separate a little bit. Now I'm going to take this color and I'm going to put it right on top. And as you can see, I'm using a sponge applicator. I put the link down for these as well. They're actually used for eyeshadow, but they do a really good job, especially if you don't want to get any of the paint on your fingers, and you get a whole bunch in the pack. Any of the products I'm using, I'm going to put the links down below, including these sponge applicators. Now, I'm not done with the sparkle and the glitter. I grabbed some of my Stickles glitter glue, and I'm just going to be going over it in spots on the mermaid, on the mermaid's tail, and I'm going to put a little bit more in her hair. Now, this kind of project with the mermaid on the shell, really, you can go crazy adding all kinds of glitter and sparkle, just like I'm doing now. I don't even think that you could I'm going to say go overboard. I think the more glitter that you can add, the more beautiful it's going to be. I'm going to continue to add some more glitter glue, and I just want to say that if you don't want to use this much glitter on your projects, you don't have to. You can use more if you want. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to move on to my next step, and yeah, it's some more glitter. This is called Glitter Pop. I love this. Wait till you see it. This is also glitter glue, but inside there's all these little pieces of glitter, but there's also little pieces of foil. Okay, I hope that you can see. I'm going to hold it up. These little chunks, you could just spread them all over. I'm doing this around the outer rim of the shell. I don't want to go over the mermaid. I just want this to highlight. It's very thick, but look at that. It does such a beautiful job. Those little pink circles, they look like little pink bubbles. Now, I did put the link down for this as well, and I want you to know it does come in other colors. And yeah, I think I've got most of the colors because it really does look pretty. So I'm just going to continue to go all the way around, and then I'm going to let it dry. Let me give you one more look. Look at all that sparkle. I love that glitter pop. You'll have to take a look at it. I wasn't really sure how I was going to display this beautiful shell, and I just wanted to remind you that, again, we are decoupaging on plastic. All right, I found this tray at the Dollar Tree, and as you can see, the shell fit perfectly. So I'm grabbing some more of my jacquard metallic paints. This wood from the Dollar Tree, it has nothing on it. There's no coating at all. And I found that these paints went on really well. It took on kind of a sheen. As it starts to dry, I'm going to hold it up so that you can see. I decided that I'm going to go around and use other colors as well. This again is the jacquard. This one is like a purpley color. So when I was picking out the colors, I just looked at the napkin that's on the seashell, the colors that are in the mermaid, the colors that are in the background, and that's the colors I decided to use. All right, I've got one more color I'm going to use. This is the gold, and I'm just going to be doing the edge there on top of the tray. And once again, I'm using the little sponge applicators. Does a really good job on something like this. All right. Now I want to show you everything else that I did. This is one of those projects I could just go on and on and on and continue to add things. So the next thing I did is take some triple thick glaze. This is a very thick sealant. It's almost resin-like. And I put it inside the tray. And then I sprinkled some of these little plastic crystals. I had them in my stash right on top. And then I let it dry. Now, once all of the glue was dry and the little beads were well adhered, I started to put the shell in, and it fit perfect. I mean, what kind of luck is that? I don't even have to glue it in. I went ahead and painted the outside, the same thing with the jacquard in a pink color, and I added some of this blue. It's a cream coat. It's called Glitter Explosion. Okay, I think with this, it's safe to say we just can't have enough glitter. I want to hold it up, and it is so pretty, and it's finished. And remember, this is plastic. This was a plastic shell that I transformed into really pretty decor. So now you can decoupage on plastic as well. So as I show you this beautiful piece of decor, I want to tell you I did not put sealant on top. And I know a lot of you are going to ask me that. And the reason I didn't is because when I put the sealant on top of the first one I did, it took away a lot of the glitter. So I just want to put that out there for you. And on to my bonus projects. And this is a real seashell, and I gave it a coat of chalky paint. And now I'm going to put some Mod Podge on. I buy big containers of Mod Podge, and I put them into small containers. So I'm going to put some of the Mod Podge right on top of the shell. And that paint is dry. I'm putting a thin coat on. This is a smooth surface. If you put too much Mod Podge on, napkin's going to get very wet, and it's going to tear. So I'm placing a napkin on top. And I gently pushed it down with my fingers, and now I'm going to go over it with my brush, and I am putting a little bit more Mod Podge on top, and I'm just smoothing it all down like that with the brush going around the edges. Now I'm going to take a piece of sandwich wrap. I think they also use them in bakeries. I didn't know that's something I just learned. And I'm using up a wadded piece of paper towel, and I'm just going it over really well so that it's smoothed down and any Mod Podge that is underneath is going to come out. I'm going to hold it up so you can get a closer look, and that napkin is from Vippies Designs, www.vippies.com. After it's dry, I want to remove that extra napkin hanging off the edge, and I'm using my finger sander, which does a really good job very, very quickly. So I'm going to go all the way around the edge until all of the napkin is removed. It looks really, really good, and I haven't even done any sparkle yet. The napkin is dry, and now I'm going to do the other side of the shell, and I'm going to be using the jacquard metal paints again. Now, I just want to tell you that these paints are not always in stock. That's why I gave you the link below. So if you see them, you should grab them. They last a long time. It comes in a set of all these jewel colors, and they're so easy to apply. I'm just using a piece of paper towel and going over the whole thing, and you can see all of the iridescent colors. You can see golds and greens. So pretty. We're going to let that dry. Now the metallic paint is dry, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do some more on top of the napkin. I'm going to use one of my favorite products. This is called Glitterific Pop. It's a glitter glue, and inside there's all these little pieces of glitter and pieces of foil, and you just put it on. There's no right way or wrong way to do it, and you just keep moving the little pieces of glitter around. You can see the little pieces of foil. They're circular, so they actually kind of look like bubbles, and you can put on as much or as little as you want. I think you're going to want a lot. It's so pretty. Here's another shell. I already gave it a coat of white chalky paint. This is the napkin I'm going to be using. I'm only using one square. I'm going to separate it because we only use the top printed ply. And as you can see, I'm kind of moving it around so I get it in the right position. The next thing I'm going to do is give it a coat of Mod Podge. Okay, that little bottle is the kind you can buy at the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to put a thin coat of Mod Podge right on top of the shell. Don't put it too thick because it's a smooth surface and the napkin might tear. All right, so I'm going to move the napkin around just a little bit. I'm not pressing it in yet because I want to make sure I have it in the right spot. So now I'm going to use my fingers. I'm going to start to press it down like that. Make sure you get that underneath part of the shell where you're going to see when I get to that. Just tuck it under there. I have some glue on top of the brush, so some glue is going on top of the napkin. And I'm just going to continue to smooth it out. Now, I am going to grab a piece of the sandwich wrap. Again, they use it in bakeries as well, and it really does a good job of smoothing out the napkin. And I'm using a wadded piece of napkin on top to really smooth it. I'm going to peel it off, and let me hold it up so you can see. Look how pretty it is. This seashell is so transformed already. I'm going to use my finger sander and go along the edge with a downward stroke and get rid of all of that extra napkin that's hanging off. Does a really good job. And I put the link for that down below too in case you want to add that to your tools for crafting. Now I want to give it a little bit more of a finishing touch. So this is Rub and Buff Gold, and I'm using the eye makeup applicator to put the gold all the way around. Now, with something like this, I'm not being exceptionally careful. As a matter of fact, I'm bringing the gold into some of the white part of the napkin. I'm even going to do some up there on top. And I think that's enough. I'm going to now put it off to dry. And now the shell is completely dry. Now I did not put a sealant on top because I did put Mod Podge on top while I was adhering the napkin. So I didn't think it was really necessary to put another sealant on top, and it came out beautiful. Well, look, I did a couple bonus shells for you, but most importantly, so you can. I found these fun plastic shells at the Dollar Tree. If we're going to be learning how to decoupage on plastic, might as well be something fun. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Decoupage D.I.Y. with Joan-Marie Domino. Give this video a thumbs up. You can follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. And don't forget to share with your crafting friends.